All
right.
right, Shalom. First and foremost, we're going to start off by giving our praises and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahawashi,
Yahawashi,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Makakwadash.
Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders that get Shorada that rule well. And salutations to you, Akim, out in the highways and the byways, preaching this word in truth and in sincerity. To you, brothers, we say Shalom. This is the brother Shakal out here from the GMS Shakal camp,
It's Brother
This,
Asha.
this the brother Yaya.
from the GMS Shakal camp, coming at you with another lesson. And basically, just the spirit, that we were talking about before we started the lesson, it's going to be about chariots, man. Which is something that a lot of people don't understand really what they are, and they don't know that this is how the Lord is literally going to save us, man. Because the way, because these nations are powerful, man. That like they're too powerful that they gone too big to to the point where if we want to take matters into our own hands, we would get completely obliterated. So we need divine intervention, and what people consider UFOs, or I know they call them something else now, aerial phenomena,
UAPs.
UAPs, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. Esau just keep giving it a name. Go ahead.
yeah, so these these what they call these are actually chariots of the Lord, man. It's no coincidence that when you read the scriptures, for example, in Second Kings, I believe it's the second chapter where Elijah gets beamed up, and then you see movies and whenever people say they see chariots, it's always a beam of light coming from the heavens. The scriptures sometimes was that specific chapter, and with Elijah, it calls it a whirlwind. So it's always like a beam of light, something coming from the heavens, in that manner. It's also in the movies, a beam of light. When somebody talks to the Most High in movies, it's always a beam of light from the heaven.
Right.
So that's no coincidence. Why? Because those UAPs, UFOs, whatever, those are the chariots of the Lord. What's in there? It's the angels, man. So that's really what they are. It's not no green guys. It's not no alien with gray aliens with big eyes and big heads, skinny bodies. No, man. Is the angels of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi, who people ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ.
Right.
And they actually look more like men than anything else. The scriptures tell you that, man. But if you could get a scripture, I think it's in Psalm 64, where it talks about the angels of the chariots of the Lord of thousands, even thousands of angels. This is why also in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter calls it the strangeness of our salvation, because nobody expects that, man. Nobody expects these things to come and actually save us, man.
And you know what's so funny about it? Why these people are so dumb? They see Esau got his airplane, his aircraft. So all of a sudden, the creators of it, heaven and earth, he can't have an armada. So that's how dumb. People are so stupid, man. If Esau with your limited knowledge and limited mind can create an aircraft to fly off the ground, you don't think Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai, who created you, can create the better than what you've created? They so stupid, man. I get tired of arguing with these idiots.
That's it.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 68 and verse 17. The chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place.
That's it. And when you look up the word chariot, I think part of it means like a vehicle. And what do you use a vehicle for? To get to and fro, to go here and there, to ride upon it, man. So those angels ride on those chariots, and there's a lot of them, man. And they could, like it says in Ezekiel, they could turn different ways without up and down, left to right, without actually doing an actual turn.
Right.
They could
and
stop.
Being controlled by the angels outside of the chariot.
Hmm. They could disappear, they could appear. You know, I remember I was trying to break bread. This was a long time ago when I was like fresh in the truth. I was trying to break bread with this one guy, which so called himself believing in the Lord and all this. And he said, "Well, I don't think the Lord needs chariots." You know, and in a sense, that's true. The Lord doesn't need them. The Lord could have made the chariots something else. Could have just made angels appear without the chariots. He could have done that, but that's not what he did. He actually made chariots for angels to be in, man. For
Right.
angels to ride upon, man. That's literally how he set it up. You know, could he do the could had he have done it another way? Of course, that's the Lord. Nothing's impossible to him. But this is how he had set it up, and we're here, the prophets, you know, of the men of the Lord, to tell you what these things are, man.
Yeah.
Con.
And you know, it's so funny that they got all these Star Wars, Star Trek. Where do you think they're getting all this stuff from? You got Men in Black, all this stuff. Where do you think they get this stuff from? You think they're creating all these movies if they don't realize that the a higher level of intelligence has created a craft that can travel beyond the stars? They, these wicked elite, they know this, right? It's just these dumb, naive idiots who've been watered down and dumb. They can't get fathom it through their tiny little heads that the Lord is far superior than anything He created, and however, like you just said, however He chooses to create, it's His will to do so. You say coming with thousands of angels in that Jude, and they can come fly without the chariots. But how more magnificent, a chariot showcasing His marvelous technology, so He can
Yeah,
show Esau that he's truly limited.
that's it. So yeah, that's what they are, man. The angels, man. And if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. You're gonna find out that day, man. You know, and they're coming to do two things, man: to save the elect, specifically the elect of the nation of Israel, and to bring destruction upon this place, man. That's literally what they're once they show up, which you know, and they're showing up now. You know, they're starting to show up now. And soon, once the Lord gives them the green light, that's exactly what they're going to do. You know, and it's no coincidence, you know, that all these things, all these chariot sightings and all that are happening at a high rate now at the same time as these prophecies are being manifested. You know, it's
Ah,
no coincidence. Why is it happening? Because they're about to come and do their thing, man. They're about to come
right.
and save the Lord's people and cast judgment upon this place. If you could get Isaiah, I believe it's the 30th, no, or 31st chapter, where it talks about as birds flying.
Con.
But you have some, Asha?
Yeah, I had that Jude 1:7, 14-15. But I was going to let you get that I quoted it.
Oh,
Yeah,
kind of.
and then we
This
got
is
Acts, you know what I mean? 1:9-11. You know, the same way,
Okay.
because the way the Lord went up, the same way He coming back. So, for these people to pretend that they're not, again, we dealing with simple minds and simple people, right? Who love to be sheep, right? Until it's too late. It's like anything else, you know what I mean? These ignorant people, they're not gonna believe anything till it actually happens, right? And that's gonna
Yep.
be their destruction and their downfall.
And the
It,
scriptures talk about when it talks about the chariots, it calls them chariots. It also calls them horses of fire. It also calls them clouds. These are all different names for the chariots of the Lord. And
yeah, I
it
got
ain't no coincidence why they call it clouds. Well, because they're in the clouds. They're riding up to and fro in the heavens, man.
time. I got that Psalms 104 too.
Okay.
I got that Isaiah.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Isaiah 31 and verse 5. As birds flying, so will Yahweh of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it.
Right. So he's gonna defend us, save us, preserve us, and also, you know, destroy these people, man. Have you ever seen a bird when you get too close to their nest, they just come swooping down and just, you know, peck you in the top of the head? You
Right.
know, you're like, oh shit. You know, that's exactly how the Lord's gonna come with the chariots. They're gonna come swooping down, delivering us, and at the same time shooting those lasers. and destroying this place, man.
Right.
It,
And that's
it
that.
literally,
This,
it's like it literally described those chariots as birds, man. And there's actually certain videos that people have recorded, like out in the midst of the sea and all that, where it's a bunch of chariots together, and from far it literally just looks like a flock of birds, man.
Con.
So like, what else can this be, man?
Right.
I had one. If you have something,
Kind.
This is Isaiah 26 real quick. This is Isaiah 26 and verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. And those chambers being the chariots, man. So the Lord is going to come down and swoop up his elect and hide them, while the rest of the earth is getting hit by them ICBM nukes, man.
Yeah, and the chariot fire.
God.
Right. And it's so powerful and so poetic, that it truly is going to be the strangers of our salvation. Because, who would think that we would get beamed up? But they've been saying that forever. Beam me up, Scotty. You see Star Wars, for those, like me, Star Trek, they say beam me up, Scotty, all day, every day, because they was reading the scriptures. They understood. So, for those who have never seen Star Trek, you watch Star Trek and you said, beam me up, Scotty. And then, Captain Kirk get transferred from the planet to the spaceship. They know, man.
Yeah.
And this was back in the 60s and 70s. Our people just sleep. And the other ones, they seeing it, and they like, they can't believe it because they don't want to believe it, man.
Yeah.
I got something. You got that? Grab that Acts 1, 9 through 11.
Okay.
Because even Yahweh Shai, ascended up into the heavens, man. So what was that all about? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where did he go?
He went into a cloud.
Right. And where did he go for those, those Christians? What did he go into?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He just vanished?
This is Acts 1 and 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahweh Shai, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
Right. And that goes right with Revelation 1 and 7. When he comes back, every eye should see him. So we just asked the Christians a simple question. He went into the cloud, so that was it? But, so let's clarify what the cloud is. That is a chariot that Elder went into. Go to Psalms 104 and 3. To clarify that the cloud is a chariot. Then get that Revelation 1 and 7. Because the same way he went, the same way he coming back, every eye should see him. But they need to understand this.
Yeah.
This is Psalms chapter 104 and verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. So he maketh his clouds his chariots. So, and they just did a movie like that with Keenan Peele. What was that movie we watched? Where the chariot was cloaked in the cloud. He just made a movie with that girl, Keke Palmer.
Nope.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talking about Nope?
Huh?
The movie Nope.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah.
With damn. Peel? Was it Peel?
Yeah, Peel, and Kiki Palmer was in there, and it showed the chariot hiding as a as a cloud.
Yeah.
So nevertheless, you know what I mean. If Esau got technology to try to hide himself in stealth mode, what they camouflage, you don't think Yahweh Shai has more intricate and elaborate stuff? Come on, man. He created
Mm-hmm.
the heavens and the earth, man. So why wouldn't he have more elaborate and powerful stuff than his creation? So stop playing.
Come on.
This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen.
There you go. He cometh with clouds. You know, because there's other scriptures in the gospel. It talks about that he's going to come with clouds and with angels to save roughly paraphrasing, to save the elect from the four corners of the earth.
Yeah.
You know, so this is not just the only time where it describes how our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, is going to come back upon the earth, man. It's going to be him, the fathership, and the rest of the angels, man, the rest of the chariots. You know, when he comes, nobody's going to be able to deny it, man. Everybody's going to know that that's Yahweh Bashem and Shai, man.
Yeah. And it says the same thing. And get that Matthew 24 and 30. You know what I mean? It says the same thing, coming in clouds of great power and glory. And then what the brother quoted, you know what I mean? To gather the elect from four ends of the earth. How they gonna gather the elect?
This is Matthew 24 and verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Read down.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of earth from one end of heaven to the other.
And that's what it is. The clouds are going to gather the elect. Clouds being the chariots, the vehicle that the Lord uses to move around through the earth's atmosphere, in and out of the water, everywhere he wants to send them to. And and y'all marveling about this stuff, and y'all should be afraid, because like the elder brother just said, it's our salvation, and we pray to be those men, and y'all destruction and y'all demise, and all the lies, all the wickedness is going to finally be judged in one fell swoop, and we can't wait, man, to get out of this wicked, awful kingdom, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing but an eyesore to, to the people of the Lord.
Yeah.
Meaning the elect of the Lord. The rest of y'all love this wickedness. Get Isaiah 66, 15 and 16 about the destruction from them clouds.
This is Isaiah 66 and verse 15. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
So that's what y'all got coming, man. A bitter end to a wicked, violent, bloody race of people. Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man here in America, and salvation for the elect of the Lord, man. He said, those chariots are going to do some destructive, violent blasts on you. That same blast that we talking about in Second Ezra. They're going to turned into dust.
Yeah.
And that's the power of the Lord's chariots, man. And nothing can withstand the Lord's power, and nothing is going to be able to withstand it, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Well, yeah, like you're saying, not a scratch. It's gonna be, like Mortal Kombat, flawless victory.
Facts.
He's not going to be able to do anything, man. And like I said, we need this, man. We need this type of salvation, man, because these nations are so powerful. It's like that's the only way. Divine intervention, man. Other than that, if there was no divine intervention, we'll be cooked. We'll be through.
Right.
You know. But you said you had that Jude.
Okay.
No.
This is Jude 1:14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, Yahweh cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and Enoch, man, Enoch was talking about this way back then, man. You know, so yeah, the dozen of his saints, chariots, angels. You know, the same thing. You know, to execute judgment. You know, and to convince. That word "convince" is to convict. To in other words, hold you accountable and judge you, man. That's what they're gonna come to do, man.
Yeah.
You know, so whoever went against us, as far as the other nation, as well as our own people, these chariots are coming to destroy them, man, by fire, chariot fire, man. That concentrated fire. It explains it very thoroughly in Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. It's a fire, the tempest, it mixed together, and when you see it, man, a lot of you are gonna wish you listen and you never went against us, but then it's gonna be too late, man. That time to repent is now, man.
Facts. Get that Second Ezra, the brother quoted 13. Okay.
This is Second Ezra 13, and I'll start at verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place wherewith the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo,
right, because just like Pharaoh, man, the Lord, they were scared. They seen everything. Just the sight of the chariots alone is gonna put fear in you, man. Even us, we're gonna be in amazement when we see them, like, oh shit, But the difference with us, we're gonna know what they are, and these people aren't. But yet the Lord is gonna put a spirit upon them to keep on fighting, to still want to fight, to still think they have a chance to defeat the Lord and his chariots, man.
Right.
Verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
There you go, that concentrated fire, man. Go ahead. Right.
Verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid.
There you go, piece of cake, man. The Lord is gonna come and literally cook all of y'all, man. This is literally gonna happen when World War III is in fruition. When all the nations are together over there in the so-called Middle East, which is west of Asia,
Western Asia.
Once they're out there, not too long after that, the Lord is gonna come and destroy all of them, man. And not just them right then and there. Hey, there's gonna be more and more chariots appearing all over the world, especially here in America. and they're gonna bring that destruction, man. You know, whoever is not covered by that blood, whoever didn't do the will Yahweh Shai, hey, they're gonna be cut out here, man. They're gonna be destroyed, man. If these plagues didn't catch them, you know, then these ICBMs and the chariot fire is, man.
That's right.
Okay.
You know, so this is exactly what's gonna happen, man. So coming against us isn't coming just against us, man. You're coming against something way more bigger and way more powerful. And you could take it as a joke or whatnot, but you're gonna have to answer for that, man.
Facts.
You know, we could. I got another one. We could get a Genesis, the first chapter, just to explain how, you know, they were there back then as well. So, in a sense, this is ancient technology, man. You know, this technology has been around for yeah, it's still way far more advanced than anything Isa Edom has ever invented. I think Genesis 1 and maybe verse 2.
You said Genesis 1 and 2.
Yeah, read verse 2.
Genesis 1 and 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of Yahweh moved upon the face of the waters.
All right, now go to the look up the word moved, and I believe that word, the spirit of God. That word God is a little g, which means alahayim. If you could double check that one first, Ba'akusha, which means gods, which means angels. You know.
Yeah.
Yep, alahayim. Yep. So it wasn't the Lord Himself; it was the angels and really the elect, Yahweh Shai and the elect, because they're the ones who created the heavens and the earth, which is what Genesis, the first chapter, talks about. So it says the spirit of the angels, right, moved. Go ahead. What's the definition for that?
It says to grow soft, relax, to hover.
To hover. They hovered upon the face of the earth. Can you read it again?
This is Genesis 1 and 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of the Alahayim moved, hovered upon the face of the waters.
There you go. The waters, which is what the heavens. The heavens are also known as waters, man. You know, so when you watch movies, when you watch cartoons, when you watch all this, what do chariots do? When people see the side of what they consider UFOs or UAPs or whatever the fuck, they're always what? Hovering in the skies, in the heavens, in the waters.
Yep.
You see? So this is what it is. You know, so like we said, man, you know, your hands are too short to fight against the Most High, man. And fighting against us is fighting against the Most High. You know, the scriptures talk about how, hey, they have not hated you, but me they hated. You know, so coming against us is coming against the Lord, man, and that's something you do not want to do. You know, even Isa Edom, as proud and pompous as he is, and as much as he thinks that he could take on the Lord, and he's gonna be the main one crying like a little bitch once he actually sees the power of the Most High, man. Once he actually sees the chariots, once he actually sees the Most High taking action, man.
Right. And that's that war in heaven, you know what I mean? Revelation 12 and 12.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, hey, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and their angels against Esau and his angels, you know?
Yep. Yep.
The difference is that Satan and his angels, which is Esau Edom, and his army, you know, jets and planes and all that.
Yep.
Hey, they're flesh and not spirit.
Exactly.
They fail. They got limits. but the chariot and the angels of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai don't. But that's all I had.
Yeah, that was a slog. That was Revelation 12 and 7. With the war in heaven. Yeah, and then you get that wisdom of Solomon that you quoted too, the strangers of our salvation.
Oh
Kind of
yeah,
ended on that.
yeah, Khan.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. And we start at 1.
Khan.
Yeah. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for.
There you go. Because nobody's gonna expect that, man. Right now, when we say it, they laugh at us. What? These guys crazy. Like these guys talk about that the chariots, aliens are gonna come and save them. That's the most, laughable thing I've heard in my entire life. But what's gonna be their response? Or let's see if they keep that same attitude once they realize that we were actually speaking the truth, man. They're going to be amazed. They're going to be in awe. They're just going to be, they're not going to know. They're going to be speechless. They're not going to know what to say.
Yeah.
Because then once they see that, they're going to know that everything else that we said was true. And that means that these cherries are going to come after their ass, man.
Yeah. Same way when they seen Moses split that Red Sea. You know what I mean? That was a strange salvation then. The Lord is about amazement, wonder, and signs and miracles that you've never seen before. He did it then. He's going to do it again.
Hey, it's scriptures talk about how this salvation is going to be greater than the one in Egypt, to the point where it's going to overshadow it, and we're no longer going to talk about the salvation in Egypt. And part of that reason is because of these chariots.
Facts.
In Egypt, we were saved by, if I'm not mistaken, one chariot.
Yeah.
It went before
fire at night and a cloud by day.
Cloud by day. This time, the Lord said He's coming with clouds, meaning more than just one.
Yeah.
Second Esdras literally described the fathership. So the strangeness of our salvation, man. That's exactly what's gonna happen, man, and we're looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, get the hell out of this place.
Yep. But that's it.
That's it. Unless y'all got something else.
You good, yeah?
Yeah.
Kind. So with that, hopefully you burn well edified. Just something that was in our spirit. And the fact that we're seeing all these chariot sightings and reports, and Esau Edom is now talking about them, whether he's trying to still throw more lies or whatever, and the government is bringing out these used to be classified things. Hey, that means we're close to the end, man. That we're close, and our salvation is near. Then when we believe, man, these are signs that we got to look for, man. The scriptures talk about when you see these things, look up, for your salvation draweth nigh.
That's right.
You see? So, hey, that just means that we're closer. We're almost there, man. So just keep on fighting. So with that, hopefully, brother, we're edified. We're going to end it by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ba'akadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yesharada, the rule well. And salutations to you, Akim, out there in the highways and the byways, preaching his word in truth and in sincerity. Shalom and a Abba.
A Bob.